festivalcircuit.com and the director of the Portland Comedy Film Festival. We've got an event happening on Sunday, the 18th, and we're going to have ourselves a fantastic time at the Clinton Street Theater, showing a great lineup of comedy films. And this comedy film that we're going to talk about comes in the form of a documentary called The Tall Bike Joust. And we're joined by director Sam Frazier Jr. Hey, Sam, thank you for joining us.
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me.
Man, I appreciate it. This film, I remember cracking up watching this just right during COVID at Houston Comedy Film Festival. It just brought down the house. I remember it just being an explosive laughter time. And so good job on this, and good job for getting nominated for the Best Comedy Series Episode Award in Portland as well.
Thank you. Thanks very much for that. I'm honored.
Yeah, no worries. Well, not a bad scorecard in the house. I think everybody was tripping out. I think the reaction you got in Portland was very similar to what you got in Houston. And you just documented just a crazy event. I'm not going to go into details. I'm going to let you explain it in your own words. What's the synopsis of the Tall Bike Joust?
Well, yeah. So the first thing people want to know is, what is a tall bike joust? So there are no horses. That's the first thing. There are bicycles, and they are high in the air. You get a bicycle frame, and then you weld another bicycle frame on top of it. And then you put somebody, you can be a millennial, but you're really you're getting a little old for it if you're a millennial at this point. You want to be that old or younger, because you're going to be sitting about 5-6 feet in the air, and you're going to be given a PVC pole with kind of a pillow at the end of it, and you're going to joust people in a craft brewery parking lot. And it's a tournament. Now, you're going to be doing this on the cement. You're probably going to fall on the cement. Maybe you'll lucky and you'll fall in a hay bale. Maybe if you fall down, somebody will catch you. You might fall into the audience and knock somebody's beer over. It's a hell of a good time. It is wild. It's an absolutely wild event, and I highly recommend going to one if there's one near you. But one question we typically get is it one of those old school bicycles where you have like one really big wheel, one tiny little one? No. It's not that. They're normal bicycles. So people aren't sitting there with little mustachios and all that kind of stuff.
So why this? Why is make a movie out of this thing? What happened here?
Well, I went to it for the first time several years ago, and it blew my mind that they had this event. And to me, it looked like a very kind of post-apocalyptic kind of world that they created, very much like a Mad Max kind of world. Which, I mean, if you're familiar with that world, you have these cars, and they're settling their scores on the roads, and they're trying to find more gasoline. Well, I mean, at some point you're going to run out of gasoline, but you're still going to have to settle your scores. So as far as I was concerned, you're going to have to do it on a bicycle, and then you're going to have an arms race. So it's kind of like they did in World War I. You would have the biplane, and then you would have like 3 wings and all the rest of it. But they're eventually going to have to settle on 2 bicycle frames as optimum to settle your scores with the lance. So I saw that, and I just thought, well, I mean, this is a little glimpse of the future. So I decided to make a documentary of an event that takes place in the future, which it makes total sense if you just don't think about it for too long.
Did you learn anything during the production of this?
Oh boy, yeah. I learned a lot of things. I'm too old to get on a tall bicycle. I know that for sure. People 10 years younger than I am are probably too old to do it. I learned, I mean, it's another reinforcement of, you can spend a random day off sitting around on your sofa, watching football, farting, doing the same kind of stuff, or you can go do something fun and random. You're never going to remember the day you sat on the sofa, but you will never forget, at least until the Alzheimer's kicks in, you'll never forget going to an event like this. And so I highly recommend going. I mean, I learned a lot from shooting it. We had like 12 cameras going. That's insane. I learned a lot from the edit, such as the people who make Adobe Premiere, the editing software, all need to be taken out and beaten to death because that software is the buggiest damn thing I've ever seen. And it's like it has artificial intelligence built in that knows, like, oh, okay, your festival deadline is coming up. We're going to make sure that you can't get your completed movie out of your computer because we're just horrible human beings. And I think somehow we all need to get even with them. I hope Adobe is not a sponsor.
It's
Uh,
not. As a matter of fact, about 3 years ago, I made the decision. I went to DaVinci Resolve, which is
yes.
free. I went to Affinity Photo instead of Photoshop, which is $50 you pay one time in your life. I haven't looked back and haven't missed a beat. I do not do the subscription to Adobe anymore. It was just killing me. So, I agree. Adobe is its thing, and it seems like they keep building on old tech or something because they're trying to make everything backwards compatible, and the software just needs like just an overhaul. But DaVinci's great, man. It's great.
I've heard that. I'm going to try to learn it. I mean, at this point, you I love you say backwards compatible because every new version of Premiere, you can't open your new project on the previous version because they want you to stay on the. It's one way to make your life miserable or another, and I think they have a department where they sit around and they giggle like, we did this to this guy, and she'll never see that movie again.
Yeah,
So
it's hey man, no, they're not a sponsor. It's just my personal opinion, my personal preference. Not messing with them anymore. So moving on. And I hear you. But beyond that, hopefully, we'll get you using some new software. But beyond that, I mean, the shooting, the production of this had to be just crazy and a little dangerous at the I mean, it's one thing to watch a football game and see a receiver coming straight at a camera person, right? But
yeah.
I know there had to be you know some falling jousters or something the camera guys had to get out of the way
Well,
of.
luckily, the camera people were a safe distance away. Their biggest concern was you would have. I mean, it's at a brew pub. You're going to
Mhm,
have people drinking beer,
mhm.
and they are not always going to be respectful of the fact that you have a camera, and they're going to want to stand in front of you. And would they do this if they weren't 5 beers in? No, probably not. But there are definitely some people who were, right on. I mean, the only thing separating the audience from the jousters is well, it's a row of hay bales, and
Wow.
people are going to try to climb on the hay bales, and they're going to get knocked into. They're going to have their beers knocked over. Um, we almost decapitated somebody with a drone, but I mean, you signed the waiver, so.
Good point. Good point. Yeah. So what's going on in the future here? Is this what's going on with the rest of the series? Where are we going next with the tall bike joust?
Ah, funny you should ask. So, this was originally a pilot for a show that I call Smart People Being Stupid, and it still is,
Mhm.
but it's really a pilot for two things now. But Smart People Being Stupid is really the series of movies that I've done for the film festival circuit, and they're just random people doing silly things on their day off. So it's kind of like a smart man's jackass in a way. So yeah, I have a lot of friends who work in they work in at hospitals, or they're very intelligent at some field. Maybe they're plumbers, maybe they're lawyers, maybe they're doing stem cell research. Um, but they'll do random things on their day off, like for example, have a cardboard boat race, which is sounds like, oh, you get a little toy of cardboard, and no, you have to build a boat out of cardboard that you get in, and you can only put duct tape on the seams. Then you have to get in the boat and you have to row it halfway across the lake and back to shore. Now it's probably not going to work, but some of them do, and it's theoretically a race. We do things like what do they call that? Egg drop competitions. So you have to make some little construction that's going to protect an egg when you drop it off. Well, it's Vulcan here in Birmingham, Alabama, and that's I think the second highest cast or tallest cast iron structure or statue in the in the country. It's big. It's second to the Statue of Liberty. So you drop it off this gigantic thing. You see if you can keep your egg from breaking. It's kind of nerd humor in a way, but it does have a physical element that, even if you're not a genius, you can figure out, why are people texting me now?
Because they know you're live. They're like, give me the link.
Yeah. And why do people have to, like, instead of one text, it's like tells me everything I need to know, I'm going to send 20 texts, 20
Yep.
tiny little texts. What are you, a shark? You have to come and take a little bite and another little bite and another little bite. One message. Am I asking too much? Sorry.
Man, football games on Saturday, I mean, I get so many fragments and they don't even make sense because it's like, oh, did you see that play? And it's like,
what game? Where? Thanks.
it's hard. It's hard.
But sorry, getting back to that. So smart people being stupid is still something I'm working on. But immediately we are the guy who created the tall bike joust in Birmingham, Marcus Fetch, and I are creating the world's first, at least semi-professional tall bike jousting league. We're calling it. It's really a tour. We're calling it the Tall Bike Joust World Cup. And we're going to have about 5 stops, and people will earn points at different little southeastern cities, and we'll have a jousting tournament at each one. So it's going to be kind of like Formula One or NASCAR, and you're earning points, and you're trying to be, the year-end champion of it. And that's a pretty big deal when you're the Tall Bike Joust World Cup champion. I mean, that's huge.
Wow. Well, good luck, man. This sounds like it's going to be a fun series. It sounds like it's going to be it's entertaining, that's for sure, and it's definitely unique. So, but on the other end, not just the content, but good job putting this together. I mean, it's really tight. It looks like you really spent a lot of time in the edit, and you got all the good bits. And the great thing about a good documentary is when you can tell someone's been embedded for so long that people get used to the cameras and stop trying to play for the cameras. And I think you got a lot of just natural footage out of this whole thing.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, no, it was a great. The people who do this are a lot of fun. They're very good natured. They understand what it is that they're doing, and I had a great crew. I keep trying to pay them, and they keep not accepting money. They're just like, oh, this is the first interesting thing I've been asked to do in years. Is there going to be an after party? Yeah, there'll be an after party. You can come to my house and drink all the beer you want. Like, oh, thank you. So, and yeah, the edit did take a long time. I had a lot of help with that. My DP helped a lot with that, and his name's Randy Crow. He did a great job, and I had a lot of other people that I would keep begging them, like, okay, what do you think of this? Does this make sense? Does the scene make sense? Here are 5 different versions of it. Which one do you like the best? And invariably, people say they're all the same. Like, how can you say this? This is 2 frames shorter. It's clearly completely different. So my friend Charlotte Glover helped a lot with that. Katie Rogers helped a lot with that. Friends are invaluable because you're editing and you don't know where you are anymore. You need new eyes. So
all right, my friend. Well, that's the quote of the day right there. Appreciate that. You got to have friends. You can't do this all alone. And we have a good team to support us doing all these film festivals, and it sounds like you got a good team heading into your series. So good luck with it.
Thanks very much, man. I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Anything else you want to add before we leave, Sam?
I just wanted to thank you very much for screening the movie. I wanted to thank the people at the Portland Comedy Film Festival for screening it, for judging it, and for considering us and for nominating us. That's huge. We all really appreciate it, and I'm thrilled and honored to be a part of it, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And before we go, Houston, we had a great time, but that was also a strange time in history.
Little bit. Yeah. That was Yeah, that was, for people who don't know, that was the first film festival that I got to actually attend after. Well, okay, we can't really say after COVID.
Yeah, just kind of
COVID.
after the lockdown slow down a little bit.
Yeah, so I got to go, and it was great fun. But we're sitting in the movie theater, and we're still wearing a mask, but it's we're taking a sip of beer, and then afterwards there's a meet and greet. None of us really knew what to do. Like, are we allowed to talk to each other? Here's another person. This person looks like a filmmaker. They have a little badge. I would like to meet them. Am I allowed to do that? If we're both wearing masks, but we're close, can we talk? But I want to take a sip. We had no clue what to do. And
Yeah.
so that in and of itself should have been a documentary. That was hilarious. But it was a
Man,
great time. I got to meet a lot of people. Um, Looking back in history, that was a very strange one. No. Then again,
it
it ain't
was.
normal now.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everywhere now we're just going,
Yeah,
there's a lot of updated guidelines with the CDC now. People are more relaxed. COVID kind of hit everybody, I know I got it. A lot of people got it, and COVID kind of swept through the population. And occasionally we do get people, that are still double masked and kind of taking it easy. But
double
you know,
mask.
yeah, we get that. We get that. Yeah, there were definitely people who were
I
double
mean,
masked,
there are
and
two
then
over their mouths. They don't have like one up on their head because they're like crazy.
no, it was the N95 mask, and then just the standard decoration mask, that they that some people wear. And we know with the Hello Kitty on the front, or the bandana, which was always my favorite.
Oh
So I'm
boy,
not sure. I'm not sure what was trying to be prevented with the bandanas, but you know, they were.
I gotta say that's especially at the height of the lockdown. I remember walking by a gas station, and I would see there were, I think, three or four huge dudes walking inside this gas station. And I remember thinking, "Oh, it's okay. They have bandanas on." Like, in what world? In the old days, it's like somebody's about to get shot.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, they're
exactly.
good dudes. They're fine.
It was like a liquor store robbery's dream there to wear your bandanas. I don't know what the bandana thing was. I guess it was just a way
Oh
to just say "f you" to the system. But man, it was a crazy time. And what's another crazy thing? When we first booked this event, we booked the theater. I remember being on the phone and telling them, yeah, we want to book this event. And that was the same day of, like, Ukraine getting invaded, and like monkeypox is hitting the news. And it's just like, what is this world going to be like by the time we get to September, But somehow we keep going, we keep tumbling along, and we just keep making it happen. So,
hey, it's you got to keep living somehow. I mean, obviously, take smart precautions. I feel very sorry for people who. I mean, there got to be a lot of people. I've never been invited to one, but people who, for example, engage in orgies and things of that nature, they really got to. The shutdown, lockdowns really got to be cramping their style. I don't. That's gonna.
yeah,
I don't know
that's
how you do that.
those events. Although I've never attended one, those events had to really suffer. That business had to suffer. So,
Yeah.
but, but yeah, it's a lot of things, man. This whole world just changed. We moved a lot of events to drive-in theaters, which was also pretty cool, just to kind of be
Yeah.
outside. And speaking about this, so we held one in Oregon, and this place is 85 miles outside of Portland at the Sunshine Mill, drive-in theater in the Dalles, Oregon, which is just way out there. I
Wow.
didn't know if one person was going to show up. I had no idea if anybody was going to show up. The place was crowded, full of cars. We could barely, put everybody in like 2020. And this one lady drove up. Her film wasn't even nominated for an award. It was an official selection, which is still an honor. We still show every film. But she drove. She was 22 years old, and her dog drove from Orange County. From
Oh wow.
So basically like a 25-hour drive each
Goodness
way
gracious.
to come to
Wow.
this. But when she came up, she was like, literally, I've been sitting in my house for 2 months, like me and my dog. And some people just needed to get out so much. So hey, we're through it, and who knows what the world's got next, but we're going to try to make sure we have every resource available to come see these things live. So,
No, I mean it's the good thing is every it seems like every new variant coming out. I mean, it's not something you want to get, but the severity is less, and and this is always good news. And
yeah,
I was I people are not we're not in lockdown anymore, and it's great to live again a
it
bit.
is.
Yeah.
Amen to that, brother. All right. Well, on that note, we're going to have some people laughing at Clinton Street
Great.
Theater next Sunday. So,
Awesome.
thank you, man. Your film really makes us look good. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
No worries. Take it easy.